So, I just got done watching Steel Ball Run episode 1 and it was pretty good. It was pretty good. Animation was really good. Voice acting's really good. Story is pretty good. I don't know much about the story other than through like the games. So like I can't really say I'm the biggest Steel Ball Run fan, but it's a good series. I can tell it's a good series for JOJO fans. And like I said, animation is really good. I'm looking at the second trailer because after the first episode, I was all like, well, when does the second episode come out? So I looked it up, found the second trailer. I'm all like, well, that's neat. The second episode should be coming out soon. Second stage right here. But after watching the trailer, and a lot of people are talking about this, the second stage, second episode is in 2026. But when? We don't know when. There's no date. So, that's kind of concerning. And I'm just going to say this right now. Animators should get all the time they need to animate this. The first episode looked great, but I don't even think we're like 5%, 10% into the story. And if we're doing this monthly releases without any release dates, that might be kind of bad. When is this series gonna finish up? Like in 2042? Because we ain't close to the finish line, that's for sure. And no date. That's kind of concerning. So this does remind me of Stone Ocean when that came out. It was like at least in batches, but like they came out in the problem with the batches and Netflix whole philosophy of, release the first episodes and then release the next episodes and all that. It was here. I had it here, but the problem was it took like almost 9 months after the first batch was released, December 1st, 2021. And then January 22, the next 12 episodes released worldwide on September 1st, 2022. And the final 14 episodes were released on December 1st. So there was almost a 9-month gap between the two. Like, that kills hype. When it came out, I remember watching the first 12 episodes, and while Stone Ocean isn't my favorite part, it was alright. And then when it came back to it in September, I didn't even remember what the hell was going on. But at least that was at least 2 out of 3 of the story. It was almost done. It was wrapping up. So at least I could just go back and then watch the rest of it. And then wait for the final part that was released on December, which was only like... My math's kind of off here. Come on, count. 3 months. I think, right? September, October, November, December. Yeah, 3 months. And, it wasn't that big of a gap compared to the 9 months from the first batch. But the problem was that it definitely killed the hype. When the second batch came out, I remember not a lot of people were talking about it because the hype was just gone. The people didn't even know it came out. I didn't know it came out. I think I watched it a little bit after September. I think it was around October when I was watching it. So I think Netflix's whole philosophy on release first batch, release next batch, I think it just doesn't work on a show like JoJo where you kind of really need to be capped on the story. A 9-month gap really hurts the attention span, not gonna lie. And like I said, most people didn't even know it came out. I remember, like, I saw almost no one talking about the second batch until like way later, maybe like a year after. And then when it finished up, that's when people were really talking about it. Because a 3-month gap is not bad. It lets the animators do what they have to do. But this is whenever in 2026. It could be tomorrow. They can Five Nights at Freddy's, the old, if you were around, over the age of 13, maybe, I don't know. But when FNAF was getting released back in the day, Five Nights at Freddy's, the creator Scott Cawthon would just shadow drop it after releasing a trailer. He'd be like, "Oh, by the way, it comes out today. It comes out tomorrow. It's already out. You just didn't know." But yeah, I think this might be a big problem. I know you should always give animators time, crunch and all that, but I don't think a weekly release would have been a bad thing. True, it probably would have looked a little bit worse, but from part 5 was not bad. The animation was really good, and that was a weekly release. There were some shots that were a little bit iffy after rewatching it a couple times, but I think it's a better trade-off than letting the hype die like this. This could be December 31st, 2026. Another 9-month gap, maybe. It's March right now. It's about to be April. It could be another 9-month gap for all we know. So, and then who's to say that the third stage won't be another 9-month gap? So, and we're not even like 10% to the series. I think. I know Steel Ball Run is like long, but yeah, this is definitely gonna hurt the hype. They should not have released this, at least right now. They should have worked on it a little bit more, because this was announced in like December 2025 when it got a release date, and then it came out this month in March, so that was 4 months. And now this will come out whenever it feels like. So yeah, I don't think this was the best thing to do. I think Netflix might be the worst thing that has ever happened to JoJo fans. There's even this meme going on with anti-privacy Johnny screen, a jump scare, I guess, if you don't like this creepypasta kind of stuff. Yeah, anti-privacy Johnny. That's the meme. If you haven't already seen it, it's everywhere. So yeah, I think that's about it. It's just kind of funny that Netflix keeps killing the hype for JoJo, to be honest. Hopefully they don't do this, like keep on track on it, because it will kill the hype. Even if the series is I think this part is way better than Stone Ocean. That's just my opinion, but it's gonna kill the hype, and it's kind of sad to see. But hopefully the hype will stay there. People will still be interested, but Netflix is kind of ruining it. I'm not gonna lie. They dropped the ball. But I think that's about it. Take care.